Now. And there we go. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of The Walking Dead 149. And I am here, as always, with Walking Dead Mike.
What's up, everybody? Hope everyone's up to date because we're going to talk a lot of spoilers today.
Oh, yeah, there's spoilers. But we have a special guest. I want everybody to have applause, everybody. Applause, please. For our Walking Dead, Tom.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
What's going on, Tom? Welcome to the podcast, man. We've done a couple of these. Now you're welcome to the party, man.
Pleasure to be here, man. Pleasure to be here with two great guys.
Hell yeah, I am. I'm a pretty damn good guy. That's right. That's good. Damn, Tom. All right, Tom. Before we get started with this issue and covering it, how big of a Walking Dead fan are you, man?
It is my favorite comic of all time by far, and it's neck and neck with my favorite show. Game of Thrones and Walking Dead are right there. It's a battle, two different genres, but by far I support the Walking Dead comics more than any other comic, and I'm a diehard fan. I love the Walking Dead.
Just real quick, what did you think about that mid-season finale? I think we all agree on that, right?
Disappointed, and I think they need to do a lot of making up for it. Otherwise, they are going to lose a lot of viewership. They're in jeopardy of losing fans, in my opinion, honestly.
Oh, hey, Mike. Those are the same words, buddy. That's the same words you said, man.
Yeah, man, it's scary. It's scary how a lot of people are on the same page as me and you, Dan. They better step it up a little bit. They're in trouble.
Oh shit.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. All right, Mike. Why don't you give the viewers what happened in this issue? What happened in this issue of 149 of The Walking Dead? Little recap.
All right, so we have Andrea bringing Carl and Lydia to, I believe, the hilltop. And she told Eduardo to make sure no one knows that they're there and to contact her if anyone's looking for her before they find her first. We have a lot of dialogue between Negan and Rick. Rick is asking Negan for some advice on how to, I guess, keep people in line and how to deal with these whispers and stuff. And yeah, just tons of dialogue with Negan and Rick. And we also have one of the child who got their head decapitated in issue 144. His parents are talking, and they, as anyone would be, they're depressed. And then we get a knock on their door with some other people. It looks like there's going to be like a little revolt within the communities against Rick.
Oh yeah, it's mutiny, man. It's mutiny.
Yeah. Agreed. Could be a civil war on our hands.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, Tom, what did you think about this issue?
I thought it was amazing, and I feel like I've been waiting for many issues for Rick and Negan to have that serious dialogue where we could possibly see some serious Negan action in the future. And I think he will be free, and I hope he does get free, and I think he could be an actual serious alliance with Rick. They could become great friends and be, I think, an unstoppable tandem.
Interesting. Mike, do you agree with that?
I mean, I don't think Maggie would be very happy with that, but I think Negan could be a big asset towards the community. I don't know exactly how, but he definitely has the smarts because he was a leader of the Saviors. He definitely has the smarts, and I feel like he could give Rick a lot of advice. But yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing him out of that jail cell and in action, because in this issue, Rick stressed very strongly that he's never, it was in bold letters, never going to let Negan out. And me just reading that, the second I read that, I'm like, oh wow, he's definitely going to be out really soon.
Yeah. So Tom, there was one particular part where when I was reading this, I was like, oh shit, what this could mean something. I don't know if it really means anything. It might be something for Negan, maybe getting out free. I don't know. We all know. We all saw how Dwight was just fed up with the leadership gig. So Tom, tell me what were your thoughts on Dwight holding Lucille?
My thoughts on Dwight holding Lucille, that one day I hope it returns into Negan's hands and Lucille comes to our aid for once as a loyal subject to Rick Grimes. I think Negan has showed a couple subtle signs of loyalty where he could have broken out. He could have committed acts of violence against our people. The first thing he said to Rick was, "Point me in the direction on who you want me to kill." I mean, then he got overexcited. He admitted embarrassment. I feel like he shows subtle signs of loyalty to Rick that Rick maybe misinterprets as trickery, but I just hope that Negan could prove himself one day to us. I mean, he's one of my favorite characters, and I think that Negan could be an asset to us, a strong one. And I hope that Dwight also will go back on what he says and will also probably stay with being in the leader position or some type of ally to Rick, and I don't think he's going to abandon us.
Yeah, most definitely. And Mike, you're making a good point too, though. Maggie is going to be so pissed off if Negan is allowed free. And what I loved about this issue was the dialogue between the exchange of Negan and Rick. And he fucking, like, when he said, "Oh yeah, you know, I got to keep people in line," and that kind of means bashing Asian guys' heads in. And you see, I loved his line where he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, too soon." Like, oh,
too soon, man. Yep.
Dude, it's too soon. I'm still heartbroken. So Mike, you know, that whole exchange with freaking Rick and Negan, like, when you're reading this, what are you thinking? Are you laughing your ass off as much as we are?
Oh, I was definitely laughing. I loved every second of the dialogue between Rick and Negan, and I'm actually holding the issue in my hand. And looks like Rick was not looking too happy about that little Asian joke that Negan had made about bashing boys' skulls in to hold the status quo. But Negan was right when he said he knows what he's doing, and he did. Everyone was following him, even though they didn't really like him too much. So, I mean, you got to give it to Negan. He's doing something right.
He's dropping F-bombs. I mean, he cusses more than Scarface. Scarface, that movie. I think there's so many F-bombs in this issue. I was loving every minute of the dialogue they give Negan. It's just amazing. So yeah, it's interesting that Rick went and definitely got advice from Negan. I mean, we all knew it was coming. What's also interesting is the fact that he went to Eugene. And he came up with this plan. Now, guys, do you agree about a community alliance with an army? Everybody being trained to kill whoever's in their way. Like, I don't see how it's going to really happen. I said in my live reaction, like, you know, how much time do they really have until Alpha strikes? So, Tom, what do you think about that whole situation?
I think time is of the essence, just like you said, Dan. I don't know if they could really form a militia or an army trainable of performing things as the plans that they think that they are going to do. I think right now it's to buy Rick some time to formulate a real plan, a more decisive, direct plan to attack, a lot more serious than we're going to build an army, and that takes a lot of time and manpower, and I just can't see that happening.
What about you, Mike?
I mean, yeah, I have to agree with Tom. It is going to take a lot of time and manpower, and as well as a lot of effort to go along with Rick's plan about forming a military between these communities. But I really do love that idea of that Rick really wants to make a military now with all these communities, the Kingdom, the Hilltop, and as well as the Sanctuary with the Saviors and everyone. I mean, if he can do it, that's great. I really believe that it is possible. And he was right when he said that Eugene has been preparing for this for a long time now with the ammunition factory. They've been stockpiling bullets for months, and hopefully we'll get to see those bullets be put to use very soon. I'm not sure if the military that Rick wants to build will be as fast as he thinks, but in time I can definitely see that happening, and I'm looking forward to that.
All right. I mean, great perspectives, both of you. And time is of the essence. But also, when I was reading this, I was like, you know, it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous to really start training everybody. Let's say everybody does start become like an Andrea, right? Andrea started off not knowing how to use a gun, and then she's like the best sharpshooter in the group. So let's say like everybody becomes like a little mini badass. Everybody. That's not just including Rick's group. That's including Hilltop. That's including, let's say, the Saviors too. So don't you think that's a dangerous game, especially with the setting we're in, because there is no rules. Even if you, so you get trained to, yeah, help for now, but if, let's say, a mutiny happens that we saw in this issue, does that play a big factor, and does that come like with the settings? Because this is an apocalyptic world, and you're getting trained, and Rick might not be in power for very much longer if he does do this plan. I believe. What do you guys think about that? How about you, Tom?
I think that's a serious thing that Rick will have to consider. That, along with just even, does he even want to waste that much ammunition even training this many people? Remember, like you said, there'll be so many people with guns and more access to ammunition that previously didn't have it. That could cause serious problems inside the groups. We don't know everybody's psyche and what they're thinking in the time. Maybe there's someone will get angry at General Rick's regiment of how they even train the army. Maybe they don't agree. Maybe they want maybe there's an outlying captain who wants to rise against Rick because he's too soft or too hard on the people. There's so many questions when you really militarize all of your people. That never works out too well for anybody. Even history will tell us that.
Hell yeah, especially in the zombie apocalypse. Like, there's no order and there's no structure. Even though no matter how much Rick wants it, I think it brings a problem. It could bring a problem. What do you think, Mike? Am I crazy?
I think both of you are absolutely right. I mean, you're right, Dan. There is no rules in a zombie apocalypse. There really is no laws. As much as you want there to be law and people to follow the laws and whatever, people are really on their own. I mean, they can do whatever they want. You're right, there's absolutely no rules. And Rick training all these people, Dan, you bring a good point as well. He's going to have to be careful now if he does train all these people, because now they're stronger. They may feel like they have more power, and they maybe they may even feel like some of these people, they feel like they're entitled to be a leader now. Maybe Rick might get overthrown, Maggie might get overthrown, and I mean, it could even start a civil war between the communities, and it could be dangerous. But I believe it's necessary. But it's just how Rick goes upon doing all of it.
The funny thing is, like, when I thought about that scene, I thought about the little scene we saw in the TV series when Rosita is training everybody how to use a gun, and Eugene's right there, and no matter how much training Eugene gets, he's so awkward with that gun, man.
He's a funny character, Eugene. You always get a kick out of Eugene. He's great. He's great to have in this world because you always smile when you see him.
Yeah, and Mike, reading this, I was like, oh, here comes Mike's theory. Here comes Mike's theory. He's playing with that radio. Playing with that radio. And I was like, oh, shit. I mean, what would be crazy if he did? I mean, it's out of the box, but if he did hear something over that radio and he decided not to tell Rick, but I think he's going to, because Rick has a plan to annihilate Alpha and all that. So Mike, man, when you're reading that, were you like, yes, fuck yeah, I just won $1,000? What was that? Was that all you right there?
Man, I was so excited, Dan, when I seen that, and especially when towards the end of the issue, Rick asked him if the radio was working, and he actually confirmed that the radio is now working, but he hasn't gotten contact with anyone. And Dan, I'm telling you right now, we spoke about this before, I hope I'm right about this, he is going to get in contact with somebody on that radio. It's going to be one of the cliffhangers in the next maybe 10, 15, 20 issues. Someone speaking on the other end of that radio, and I'm so looking forward to it. I really want to see a larger world out there, more communities and more badasses and new crazy characters. I'm just so looking forward to it. And I really have a gut feeling that radio is, we're going to get in contact with other people.
Oh, man, I don't doubt it, man. What do you think, Tom? What do you think about Mike's theory right there?
Oh, I'm so excited for that. I support it. I've also been someone has high hopes for that radio and Eugene's ingenuity to fix that together. He knew he needed transistors. He knew the parts he needed. I just have high hopes, even though right now it seems Eugene has low hopes for the radio. It seems like it's frustrating him, but I think as long as he stays with it, with a little bit of persistence, random dedication, I think hopefully we do hear someone on the other side and build up some communication and, like Mike said, see a bigger world, possible new serious characters, new alliances, networks of trade.
Yeah. Yeah, Tom. Like, do you think that that has to happen, right? That if they want to continue The Walking Dead, you think that has to happen where they really need to explore and really need to go they need to leave it. They need to leave what Rick has built. Do you agree with that, Mike?
And I think
Tom?
I think that's a great point, that it almost the world has to get bigger. I mean, with a world expanding only brings more possibilities, more artwork, more plot lines and characters and just things. I think they could really almost have no end to it. The world can get so big, and we could, as fans, want to dive deeper into the world and immerse ourselves with these new characters and these new networks. And I think the possibilities are endless for something like that because we know the writing is there for it.
Yeah, I mean, Kirkman is doing a good job continuing to really impress us and really keep us at the edge of our seat, because we're going to on 150. It's not too much as if you really think about it, but there has been a lot of material in the comic books, and I mean, it's just going to be very interesting if they just keep going and where this is going to head. And I think you guys are right that it has to head there. It has to head over there. We have to see new territory. We have to see new characters. We have to explore. We must explore. And I think, like I always said, I think Michonne going to sea and stuff, I don't think that was a joke. I think that's something bigger that's going to happen as well.
Yeah. I would have to agree with you, Dan. The Michonne going to sea. I think me and Tom were talking about this the other day over lunch, that this has to be more going on with Michonne, and then when she goes out fishing and all that, and as well as the CB radio that Eugene has been fixing, and now it's actually, we know it's working now. I don't believe Kirkman would keep throwing the radio in our face, the CB radio in our face, in like almost every other issue. He keeps pointing at this issue with the CB radio, so it's going to have to come into play in a major way soon. Kirkman just doesn't do that and just forgets about it.
Go ahead, Tom.
I completely agree with Mike. I mean, yeah, it's calculated. We were just talking about this over lunch. It's almost like a new career path, new possibilities. It's a pirate, a naval explorer. Like, the expeditions are literally endless as long as you have shipbuilders and people to manufacture these things and, you know, scavenge for raw materials. This sea voyage is really, really, really interesting to me. It could almost be a whole nother storyline at sea, coexisting with the land tales, if you could really want to think about it in that way. It's endless also.
Yeah, most definitely, man. I mean, that would just it's going to be interesting once this is all said and done, if Kirkman decides to head that way, and I don't see why not. The other thing in this issue was, I was questioning, is when Andrea and Carl take Lydia to the hilltop. I didn't really think that they're going to take her to the hilltop, especially what's going on, but they take her to the hilltop. And I don't know about it. What do you think, Tom?
I think the logic is weird on that. I don't understand why.
Right.
Why leave your father's side, who could protect you better than Rick and people like Jesus and, you know, Rick's immediate, you know, friends and people who really love Rick and Carl, but I don't understand why they decided to take him to the hilltop. I don't get the logic there. I think we just have to wait and see. Yeah, I don't understand. I'm scared.
Especially when Andrea is telling I forgot what the guy's name was, the guy who was watching the post, like, oh yeah, if anybody asks, you know, I'm not here, or if anybody's looking for me, let me know before you tell anybody. It's like, yeah, that's not shady. Yeah, nothing's gonna happen there. Nothing's definitely gonna happen there. Mike, what do you think, man?
Well, it is a little weird that they brought Lydia and Carl to the hilltop, but from what I'm guessing, from what I'm seeing right now, the word hasn't from the events that happened in issue 144 with all those deaths, those 12, 13 deaths, however many it was, the word hasn't yet gotten to the hilltop about what happened. The guy, Eduardo, who was holding the post down at the hilltop, even asked Maggie, he goes, is the fair over yet? Like, they don't even know what's going on at the hilltop yet. The word hasn't reached the hilltop yet. So maybe, I guess it is a smart idea, but it's not. I mean, where other places are you going to bring Lydia? They're eventually going to find Lydia and Carl and Andrea at the hilltop. So, I mean, you can't run away from your problems. I mean, I guess for the time being you can run away, but eventually it's going to come and bite you in the ass and come get you.
Yeah, eventually that word is going to spread, man. It's going to spread like that zombie disease, but I'm telling you, it's. I think it's an insane logic. I mean, he's lucky that Maggie is still held up. You know, Maggie. We see a little panel with Maggie just chilling, and I still feel like something's gonna happen between Rick and Maggie. Like, there's gonna be more conflict between those two because it just feels that way. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I think something's brewing there, but I just hope friendship prevails, I guess, but I don't know if it really will. It's a dark storyline between them. You don't know what's going to happen now. A lot of things are in the past. Their mindsets have evolved, and now there's people who support Maggie, so her mind can be persuaded just due to so many people supporting her and counting on Maggie. Maybe Maggie feels like she can execute more or make decisions quicker. I think Rick was wrong by getting mad at Maggie for when she executed when she
Gregory?
Yes, Gregory, I'm sorry. When she executed Gregory, I think that was the right decision. He was poisoning her. He was plotting on her for multiple issues. He wasn't a friend of any of ours for a long time. We know he wanted to be overthrowing us, and he wanted the position.
Yeah, very, very great perspective on that, Tom. I mean, yeah, I think everybody could definitely agree on that because it was just the way, I guess, Maggie kind of handled it, especially with Carl leaving and then her not. I think, Mike, you pointed that out too with Maggie and her dealing with Carl's situation as well. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting that if something does happen, we all know who Maggie has on her side. And Mike, you know this, as we talked about this. Maggie has the badass character on her side, so if she does go, something happens there, like a civil war, she has Jesus. She has Jesus on her side, and Jesus, that's a one-man army right there. That's a Daryl. That's 10 times than Daryl, because he could do kung fu and stuff. So it's gonna be very interesting. Very interesting.
I think Jesus is way more elite than Daryl will ever wish he could ever be. But hopefully, if there's ever any conflict again between Maggie and Rick, hopefully Jesus, who is Maggie's right-hand man, will snap Maggie out of it, so he could maybe hopefully prevent any civil war or any conflict between Rick and Maggie in the future. But I mean, I'm a little nervous between that relationship, and especially now Negan. It looks like Negan is coming into play now. Maggie could get really, really angry and frustrated with Rick. And anger can cause someone to make stupid decisions, and I hope Maggie doesn't go and make any stupid decisions quick.
Yeah, most definitely. I see that too. Jesus, kind of saying, "What are you doing? We shouldn't be doing this. Do you want another war? You're becoming a Negan. What the hell?" So yeah, that'd be definitely interesting as well. But I guess we should talk about Dwight. Like, I feel for Dwight. He doesn't want all this responsibility. He knows he doesn't want it. He doesn't want it. He just wants to go. Of course, we're back with him and his. I guess they're together. I'm not sure. I like to say his ex-wife or whatever, who was with Negan at one point. Had when Negan was on top and everything. But I do feel for Dwight, and this begs the question, like, if he's gonna leave, who's gonna take over? And we all know that, they're saying, like, everybody's talking like Rick this, Rick that. If you leave, then there's just gonna be chaos happen. What do you think, Tom? What do you think about the whole thing with Dwight?
I think chaos is brewing. I mean, if Dwight leaves, there'll be an absence of power and no one to really decide who's going to be that power. We know what happens in life when the one on the top goes. Everybody else is trying to fight for the number one position. That itself right there could just be another grenade in our camp that we just can't afford right now with dealing with Alpha problems with Rick and Lydia, and there's a lot of things going on. This is a bomb waiting to happen. If you ask me, we need Dwight to hang in there.
Yeah. What do you think, Mike?
I really think I agree with Tom. We need Dwight to stay in that leadership role, and he was talking with Laura, who she got a mouth on her. Cunt this, fuck this.
Yeah. I was like, shit, man, little female Negan right there.
Yeah, so I'm with Laura, saying on the same side as Laura, and what Tom just said. Dwight really needs to stay in this leadership position, because without him, there would really be chaos between the Saviors and the other communities, because Laura even said it, the one who was talking with Dwight, that they still don't trust Rick till this day. And I really think she might have snapped Dwight out of it a little bit, because as we see in the last panel, that he now has Negan's Lucille bat in his hand, so that makes my hopes even higher now. And I have more confidence that Dwight will step up and stay in that position. Right when he took Lucille out of that closet. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, I kind of interpreted that maybe he'll go and free Negan and say, you know what, Negan, take it back, take it all back. But you know what? Thinking about it and what you said, Mike, like most likely he's gonna stay. Most likely he knows, like, I don't want it, but you know, if I don't stay here, a lot of shit's gonna go down. You know, am I the only one? But a lot of these panels, when they had the shadow cast on his scar, he really looked like Rick when Rick had that long hair. Am I the only one that thought that?
I didn't catch that, Dan. I didn't catch that. No.
Did you see that, Tom?
No, I didn't catch that.
Like he kind of looked like Rick a little bit. I'm just saying, if you go back to some of those panels, it's just like there's a shadow just cast on a scar where you just see his good side, and he has his hair going and he has like a little beard going on there. I was like, you know, that kind of reminds me of Rick for some reason. So interesting, just very interesting. So we didn't get no alpha, we didn't get no whispers in this issue, but I mean, they're gonna come. They're definitely gonna come. So just so many things happening. You, like Tom, you said, you got Lydia, you got Carl, then you got we have the Saviors.
What do you think about Lydia telling Carl that she's already better and more respected than Rick?
Oh yeah. Oh man, I'm glad you pointed that out.
I read that, I was scared. I was like, oh no, she's gonna hype the wrong kid. You don't want to hype Carl and get his mind going like that.
Oh man! Oh, wow! Mike, what do you think about that?
That's a really good point. I mean, Kirkman doesn't just put this dialogue in there to just throw it away. There's a reason. There is a reason for Kirkman putting the dialogue in there like that, and Tom just nailed it when he said, "You definitely don't want to hype up the wrong kid, because love can make you do stupid things, and if you're gonna embed this in Carl's mind that he's better than his father, you might even have Carl do something stupid in the future. I hope this isn't the case, because Carl has not been on my good side for the past 10, 20 issues, I think.
Oh, so
yeah. I hope he doesn't do anything stupid, Carl, but only time can tell. Kirkman definitely has a lot of stuff up his sleeve, and that dialogue that Tom just pointed out did get me nervous as well.
Man, great pickup, Tom. Like, you're right, man. Like, just absolutely just... Because Lydia has been influencing Carl this whole time. With the short amount of time after Carl got that booty, he's like, anything you want. You want me to put a ring on it? I'll put a ring on it. Like, Carl has just been influenced like hell. So, you know, that dialogue was very interesting, and that kind of dialogue really makes you suspicious of Lydia. It makes you suspicious what her intentions are. The one little thing I did like, though, was how I perceived it too was, you know, Carl returning and saying, yeah, it's because of my dad. And that's great that he still has his dad in mind. That's great that, you know, he still, him going forward is all because he knows it's all because his dad. He wants to make his dad proud. But you got to realize, too, he's not the only one that's kind of whispering in Carl's ear, or really telling him stuff, because Negan's right there too, and we see a little bit of Negan in Carl, especially when he gets his little angry mode and he's doing his little MK mode, eyes all black and going after these guys. So yeah, Tom, great point, man. I mean, just I don't know. I want to like Lydia, but then there's that part of me is like, I don't trust you. I don't. Where's Sophia? I don't trust you. Sophia, watch her. Watch her. Oh man, so great point, Tom.
Thanks, guys.
And they finally mentioned they did when Maggie was speaking with that lady, I think, in the room with Baby Herschel. They did first time we heard her name in a very long time. I mean, I hope Sophia comes into play again, and hopefully, I don't know. Like you said, Dan, I definitely still to this day do not trust Lydia. I really do not trust her for some reason. She's very manipulative, even though she's whatever 14 years old. She can be very manipulative. And Carl, I don't think Carl is that smart to see that.
No, yeah, man. I mean, and Alpha and the Whispers is such a danger. I mean, this is probably one of the most dangerous. They probably are the most dangerous group in the Walking Dead comic, in my opinion. I mean, you just don't know what they could do. You don't know what, Alpha was crying and this and that, like letting Lydia go, but you don't know. You just don't know. It's going to be interesting down the line. But what do you think, Tom? What do you think Alpha and the Whispers are going to do at this point? Are they going to go attack Rick, or are they just going to stay put and see what they'll make their move first?
For now, I do not believe that they're going to initiate further contact with them, but I think that they are completely surveilling us. They're watching us. They're really, really, really watching us, I feel. And I feel like that they're going to end up catching us in their land, and then they're going to want to strike again before we catch them in ours, because I believe they're in our land undetected, but we're just not in theirs. We're trying to figure out a way just to get there. Meanwhile, they're probably almost amongst us from afar.
Yeah, and Mike, I feel the same way. Mike, how do you feel? Because I think they are. Tom really nailed it. We know they are. We know they surveil us. I mean, you had Alpha go to the festival. You have, they're watching. They're watching. What do you think about all that, Mike? What do you think Alpha and the Whispers are going to do?
I think they're playing their moves very smart. I think they're very intelligent people. They're mobile, so they're always on the run. They're always going somewhere, and I do believe, like Tom said and you said, that they're watching us out every move. And if they're going to strike first, I honestly do believe they're going to strike first, but not because of Rick. Because I think someone in one of the community, I mean, they know where the hilltop is now, the Whispers. They know where Alexandria is now. So they have the upper hand on us right now.
Yeah.
So I believe someone within the communities who's angry, without Rick knowing this, is going to cross that border, which is going to set Alpha off, and then Alpha is going to attack. And Rick might not even know that someone in either Alexandria or the Hilltop went over the border when they weren't supposed to, and now they kind of started a new war. So Rick might not even know what's going to happen. They definitely have the upper hand, because I believe they're definitely surveilling us, and someone from, I have a feeling, our communities is going to cross that border and flip the switch for Alpha and the Whisperers, and it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good for any of us.
Oh yeah. I mean, what we got 150, and I think it's called Betrayal too. Am I right about that?
Yeah, it is cool. It is called Betrayal, and it is 30 pages. So we got a little extra, couple more pages for us, and I believe, someone in the community is definitely going to betray Rick. Something's going to happen. Something big is going to happen. I don't believe we're going to start whatever this war or conflict between Alpha until maybe about 3 or 4 issues, maybe, and then that's when everything's going to start to stir up. It is a slow burn right now.
Okay. Tom, who's going to betray Rick, though?
Oh, wow. What a good question. I think it is going to be someone within us who we're not sure yet. Someone who was stirring up plans with Eugene. We see that the fathers and mothers and friends of people who are mourning feel like no one's
putting
action swift enough. And I feel like they're going to take it into their own hands, just like Mike said. It's going to be a couple people running up into their territory and doing something silly that they're going to regret, probably all get killed for it, and betray Rick in doing so.
I could see that definitely happening. I mean, at first, Mike, I think we thought, like, ooh, we don't know about Michonne when this all first started. But, I could see just those people being so stupid and just going after Alpha and all them, thinking that they can handle it, and just starting a freaking war. But also, like, wait, are they going to hear the news that, Rick's going to want to train everybody? Like, you're right, Mike. I don't think this is really going to establish until a couple issues further down the line. But a couple issues further down the line, do you see anybody dying?
I definitely see more deaths to come. I think someone's going to die next issue. I think Rick is going to put someone in the ground next issue, maybe even a few people, to maybe put his communities in line and let him know that he is still the leader. Because I really feel like a group of people are getting together right now, and they're going to try to do something to Rick. I think there's going to be an attempt on Rick's life in this next issue, next month in January, issue 150. And then Rick, hopefully, I can't see Rick dying. He's definitely not going to die, in my opinion, but there is going to be an attempt on Rick's life in next issue, and Rick is definitely going to have to put someone in the ground.
You putting money on that? You putting money on that, Mike?
What was that?
You're going to put money on that?
Oh, I have money on that, yeah.
Okay. Hey, I see Tom's big old smile. He's like, yes. Yes,
Yeah.
Tom, what are you thinking, man?
Guys, I completely agree. I would also be willing to put money on it, even due to the simple fact that this is an anniversary edition coming up. This is 150. We got to see some bodies drop. We know Rick is fuming. We know people are getting real testy, making silly decisions, kind of talking nonsense. We see people taking sides from the person who protects them and who set up this whole nice thing for everyone to live safely and not have to live like savages like Alpha. Now Rick all he wants to do is protect us. He has nothing but good intention. But now I think people are getting real fed up on both sides, and someone's going to get put into the ground.
Yeah, man, that's some great predictions by both of you guys. You know what? I didn't thinking about, like, I agree with both of you. I think, yeah, it's 150. A lot of things happening, betrayals, trying to take Rick out of, Rick-tatorship, so to speak, get him out of the office. I don't see how nobody dies. I don't see how nobody dies in the next couple issues, or even next issue. I just don't see it, especially with that cover of him just full of freaking blood, just blood going just from somebody's blood. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how I think this issue, what I really came out of it was a lot of setup, a lot of decisions, a lot of things to come. It was great dialogue, great interactions, but it just feels like, yeah, Kirkman and crew is just like, okay, let's just set let's throw in some things that that's gonna happen in future issues. So but I love you guys' predictions. I love where you guys heads are at. So I definitely agree with both of you guys. You guys nailed it. Okay, Tom, but let's just say we have this thing, going back to Negan in the conversation with Rick. It was a great conversation. It was a great build kind of trust. Of course, Rick's never going to trust Negan. Never. Like you said, Mike, you're never coming out. You're never your ass is staying right there. But like that was the step. That was another step of them finally communicating after so long and stuff, communicating even more, and actually Rick going to Negan with all these problems. Tom, is there even a slight chance that maybe Negan is just doing this to get it? He says all these things, but really he wants to kill Rick. You think he'll kill Rick at all?
I think there's a very, very small chance that could happen. The only the reason why I'm like 95% sure why it's not is because Negan is, to me, a man who has logic, and he realizes that Rick has kept him in this cage for around 2 years, maybe approaching 2.5 years, and they bathe him, they feed him, they cleanse him, they take care of him. Rick personally removes his waste, his excrement, so no one else can do it. And I think Negan grew to literally inside almost love Rick, almost love him, I think, and have respect for him for what he's done, because I know that if it was the opposite way around, Negan probably wouldn't have done it that way. Negan almost adheres to Rick's superiority in the mind.
Yeah, and Negan's final, like, when he said, "Oh, so after all that, no, like, home cooked meal or anything like that, not even a beach." It's just Negan's just a crazy motherfucker. Mike, I have a question for you though, man. All right, so a lot of this is happening, and we did get introduced to this group in like when this all kind of started. But when does Magma come to play? When does Magma come to play, Mike?
Oh man, I love that you asked me this question. I am a very, 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 very big fan of Magna. I really feel like Kirkman is going to use her, and she's going to be a very big asset. I think she's going to come into play within the next couple issues. She's definitely going to be a major player in the battle with the Whisperers. I'm telling you right now, my hopes are very high for Magna. We haven't seen much of her, but she's becoming one of my favorite characters. This might sound weird because we really haven't seen much of her, but I have such high hopes for Magna. I really, really think that Kirkman has very special plans for that character in particular, and she's going to do great things in this battle with the Whisperers. And I see her being a character in the long run. I don't see her dying anytime soon. I believe, like I just said, I believe she's going to be a major player in the next couple issues to come, and the battle with the Whisperers. What do you think, Dan? Are you on the same page as I am, or do you think she's just one character?
Nah, I mean, I would think so, because, like, come on, Kirkman, like, they have their own cover. They got introduced. There's little sprinkles of her, and they met Negan. That's no joke there. Kirkman put that in there for her to meet Negan for some reason. So, I mean, we don't know too much about her or her group as much as I want to, but yeah, man, I don't see her not being a player. I don't see her not coming into play in a couple of issues down the line. Her outliving, though, her being here for a long time, I don't know yet, because, I haven't seen too much of her. We'll see, but her group seems very strong, capable. She kind of seems like, when Rick and all them first started out, with that small little group, that little unit. So I can't wait, man. I can't wait till she comes into play. But I'm along the same lines with you. There's no way she got introduced and she's just going to be kind of cast aside like that. What do you think, Tom?
I completely agree with both of you guys. I don't think you guys could have said it any better. I mean, Magma reminds me of a Rick. She has to be battle tested and battle hardened just due to the simple fact she's been out there in the apocalyptic world alone with a very small group, not in forts, not behind walls. She has to be some type of very, very serious person in combat. I think that's one of our greatest secret weapons, almost, in a way. I think she's a heavy hitter. I couldn't agree with you guys more. And I like how you said when she almost is like Rick's group reminiscent, like very, very similar. That tight unity group. That's, no nonsense.
Yeah, man. I mean, man, there's just so much to look forward to when it comes to the comic books. I mean, Mike, we already know about the TV show. Oh my God. I think Tom knows too. I think Tom knows about the TV show. What it's about. I'm interested though, real quick. Hey, Tom, like, how do you feel so far about this season? And Mike, he makes a great point about Morgan. I thought Morgan would be a lot better than he was in the television show. So what do you think, Tom? I want to hear those thoughts real quick.
To be honest, guys, I'm so disappointed in what they've been doing with this first half season. It's disappointing, really. Almost every episode has been disappointing to me in some way. A lot of melodrama, a lot of weird Morgan antics that really, really have no place in the apocalyptic world. It's almost like Morgan's going to die or betray one of us, and we're going to have to put Morgan down. We saw that was attempted, and Morgan literally hurt our own person, freed the captive, and now they took the doctor, our only doctor.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little ridiculous to me. I feel like Morgan's lifestyle that he's chose now is only going to hurt us in the end, and the season's disappointing. They need bodies to drop, I think.
Mike, that sounds like you, man. That sounds a
No,
little bit like you.
I'm glad you agree with me, Tom. I'm glad you agree with me. Now,
Yeah.
let's just talk about this for 2 seconds, really quick. If this wasn't a TV show, all those people in that room would have died. Carol, Morgan, Rosita, Eugene, Denise, and Tara. They all would have been dead. If that was real life and not a TV show. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I don't get why he's attacking Carol like that. There was just no reason for it. It angered me. It was frustrating when
It is, and he's like my favorite character in the TV show too. Like, fuck, come on, Morgan, come on, man, come on. It's funny, since we're bringing the TV show into this. I told Mike this earlier. Like, you know what? I was rereading some of the issues. I was rereading the comic book, and I really, I'm really kind of disappointed how they did Denise. Because in the comic book, I kind of really like Denise in the comic book, and how they're doing Denise in the TV show, I don't really like it. How do you feel? What do you think, Tom? You think Denise is kind of okay in the TV show right now?
she's so timid. She's not herself. No, no. I want to see Denise do something, and I hope here maybe she could somehow redeem herself by maybe even killing the last of these crazy guys, or getting away from him at the very least. Let's get her out of there. Let her escape. Let her prove some type of worth to the show, because in the comics, we all know she's very, very dependable.
Yeah, and Rick does have great conversations with Denise sometimes. Like he kind of says a lot of shit. That like, whoa, Rick, you actually said that. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I hope I'm on the same page as Tom and you as well. I hope she does redeem herself because in the comics she is and was an asset to the group, being the doctor and all, and her relationship with Heath. I like that. But yeah, in the show, I know we just really got introduced to her, but hopefully she'll redeem herself and do something in either episode 9 or 10 that'll make us like her even more.
Oh yeah, and also, I'm bringing this up, the TV show up, because it's not going to be, it's not on Sundays and stuff. But I've been thinking about it a little bit, and when it comes back, I'm asking you guys this question right now, and I'm saying it right now. I don't think Judith is going to survive this. I don't think Judith in a TV show is going to survive. What do you think, Tom?
Wow, I think that's a big statement. That's a big statement. I don't know. That's up for grabs. We know what happens to her in the comic.
Yeah.
She's,
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
I almost feel like they have to put her down. She has no place. She has no place in this world. It's not realistic. Really, it's hard to say this, but she's a waste of resources right now, man. And we do know it's AMC. They probably can't kill her on screen, but which makes it even easier to just sweep her under the rug, get rid of her. We leave it wondering what happened to her, and then you have to connect the dots with your mind, just as the characters do. That Judith is unaccounted for. She must have been swept up in the
the
carnage.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Especially when Negan's coming to play.
Yeah. I really don't want Judith in the show anymore, to be honest.
What about you, Mike? Baby Judith gonna survive?
Oh man, I feel like I think she will survive, but there is a small chance that she could die because, like Tom said, that it's going to be very hard to show a baby being killed in the comics. I mean, in the TV show, it's going to be very hard to put that on screen, and I feel like now would be the perfect timing for them to do that. It would be easy for them to get away with because she's under the cloak, and you can easily just fall with her in your hand, and she can still technically be under the cloak, and you won't technically see it, but you'll know that she's gone instead of showing it on screen, So it would be a good idea for her to go out this way, and maybe AMC might pull the trigger and do that because they see the opportunity that they have.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think AMC will be able to do it. I mean, come on, man. They pushed the envelope by showing Heisenberg in his tidy whities. I think they could do Baby Judith's demise. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting when the TV show comes back. It's so interesting comparing the TV show with the comic books. And by me and Mike, Tom, we think, dude, the comic books are far superior than a TV show. And I think I see you, man. I think you agree with us as well, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's my favorite comic by far, and show it gets more and more disappointing. The only reason why it's up there with my shows is because I love the comics so much. It's so tied in. I look for these comic book moments depicted on screen, and it's so happy. Me and Mike talk all the time. I can't wait till, I don't know if we'll see it, but those famous words, "Pull over, Negan commands it," and Negan is not even in the horde. That's it's just really cool. I look forward to these moments. So I still like the show, but no, I'm disappointed in it. The comics are.
Wait, did you see the clip though?
Yes, I did see that clip. I did see that clip. I did.
Yeah. Oh man, at least there's some excitement for the TV show that Negan's coming into play, and the actor who's playing him is the comedian himself,
Yes.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan. So I can't believe he says he's gonna push AMC with the cussing. So hopefully that is true. You know how they love to say, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be bananas." It was sloppy, man. It was sloppy, Rick. It was sloppy, Daryl. You lied to me. But yeah, going back to the comic though, just unbelievable what's going on right now. Unbelievable where we're at. 150s coming up. I mean, so many possibilities that could happen. What's great about this comic book is that you don't know exactly what might happen. You could just predict, and sometimes you're right, and then sometimes you're just completely wrong. So very interesting. What 150 presents, but I want to thank you guys for joining me for talking Walking Dead 149. Tom, man, you might be a regular, brother. You might be a regular, man.
I appreciate it. I'd love to. It'd be my honor, man. I'm a very big fan.
And Mike, always a regular Walking Dead Mike right there.
You're the man, Dan. You are the man. You're the man. I appreciate this all the time.
I try to be the man. I try to keep going. Got to keep on keeping on. But yeah, it's very interesting to see what happens in the future. So I want to thank all the viewers who have checked this out. This was 149 podcast of The Walking Dead. We had Walking Dead Tom. We had Walking Dead Mike. Great podcast. So all you have to really do is hit that subscribe button if you want more. Like the video if you like it, and comment below. Love to hear all you guys' thoughts on this issue. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What your predictions? What do you predict is going to happen next? Would love to hear you guys' thoughts. So thank you, Tom, for joining us. Thank you, Mike, for joining us. Thank you, and until next time, right, guys?
Oh yeah, for next time. I'm looking forward to it.
There it is. That's that Godfather type stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys, and until next time, until we talk more. The Walking Dead.